So do you want me to start with
Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnur Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaskaram everyone. For the Vishnu Sahasranamam study, I've requested to talk about time. So Satiji has prepared quite a beautiful notes. So I'm going to hand over to Satiji so she can speak to us about time. Satiji, over to you.
Thank you, Sriji. Namaskaram, everyone. We were just talking about time, the concept of time, according to the Vedas, and we are going to discuss it from the micro level to the macro level. So time in Vedas, the base unit of time is Paramanu. 2 Paramanu will make 1 Anu. 3 Anu will make 1 Trasarenu. 3 Trasarenu will make 1 Truti. 100 Truti will make 1 Veda. And 3 Veda will make 1 Lava. 3 Lava will make 1 Nimisha. Nimisha is the 1 second that we talk about in Western world. 3 Nimisha will make 1 Chana. And 5 Chana will make 1 Kashta. 15 Kashta will make 1 Laghu. 15 Laghu will make 1 Danda. 2 Danda will make the Muhurta that we always talk about Muhurta. 30 Muhurta will make 1 Ahoratra. Aho means brightness, darkness. So 1 day and night, that's Ahoratram. 30 Ahoratram will make 1 Masa or month. That is 1 day of the Pitrus. 2 Masa will make 1 Ritu. And there are 6 Ritus, as you all know: Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad, and Hemant, and Shishiram. 3 Ritus, that is 6 months, will make 1 Ayana. That's what we talk about, the Uttarayanam and the Dakshinayanam. 2 Ayanas there. 2 Ayanas will make 1 Samvatsara or 1 year. And that is 1 day or Ahoratram for Devas. So 1 year is human, 1 year is 1 day for the Devas. After 60 years or Samvatsaras, the cycle is supposed to repeat itself. Now, as it goes to higher dimensions, so far it is about the earth, human years. As it goes to higher dimensions, time dilates. Time dilation means differences in the elapsed time as measured by 2 clocks due to relative velocity between them. Due to time dilation, you can even see in the picture how it is dilating time. Due to time dilation, the lifespan varies between humans, Pitris or forefathers, Devas or gods, Manu or the progenitor of mankind, and Brahma or the creator of God. 1 human year is equal to 30 Pitri years. 30 Pitri years is equal to 360 Deva years or divine years. 360 divine years is equal to 3,067,200 Manu years. 367,200 Manu years is equivalent to 3 trillion Brahma years. 3 trillion, the number is boggling, mind-boggling. I cannot even say the full number. Yeah, so that's how the time dilates as it goes to higher dimensions. Now, according to Bhagavatam, cosmic time is divided into kalpas. 1 kalpa is equal to 1 day and night of Brahma, that is 8.64 billion years. It is divided into two Arthakalpas of 4.32 billion years. So 4.32 billion years of day and 4.32 billion years of night for Brahma is one kalpa. And each kalpa is further divided into 1,000 Chaturyuga or Mahayugas. 360 Brahma days is one Brahma year. And 100 years of Brahma is the lifespan of Brahma. It is called Mahakalpa. And that is only 1 second for Vishnu. So you can imagine the time, how much it's dilating. And there are 9 Brahmas altogether. The present one is the 7th Brahma. And Hanuman is supposed to be the last Brahma. I thought those are all interesting facts we can share. And during one day of Brahma, 14 Manus are formed. That is called Manvantara. Manvantara is the time period ruled by one Manu. Present Manu is Vaivaswata Manu, and he is the 7th Manu. Each Manu has 71 Chaturyuga or 308 million years. 7 seers and 1 Indra also comes with each Manu. The present Chaturyuga is the 28th of the 71 Chaturyugas of this Manvantara. Chaturyuga consists of 12,000 divine years. One divine year is equal to 360 human years. Chaturyuga consists of 4 yugas. Krita Yuga, which consists of 17,28,000 human years or 4,800 divine years. Treta Yuga or 12,96,000 human years or 3,600 divine years. Dwapara Yuga, which consists of 8,64,000 or 2,400 divine years, and Kali Yuga, which consists of 4,32,000 human years or 1,200 divine years. The yugas are also called dharma ages, dharmic ages, each with a 25% decline in dharmic practice and length in the proportion of 4:3:2:1, which means in the Krita Yuga there was 100% dharma, Treta Yuga 75% dharma, Dwapara Yuga 50% dharma, and Kali Yuga 25% it starts with, at the end there will be 0% dharma. This indicates de-evolution in spiritual consciousness and an evolution in material consciousness. Kali Yuga is followed by Krita Yuga. Each yuga is divided into main period and sandhyas. Each sandhya, two yuga sandhyas there. There is a sandhya is the connecting period between the day and night. So there is a yuga sandhya called dawn and the yuga sandhyamsha called dusk. Each yuga or sandhi lasts for 10% of the main period. So when you add the yuga sandhya, it is called also called Chaturyuga, lasts for 12,000 divine years or 4.32 million human years. So that is one full Chaturyuga time period. The present yuga is Kali Yuga with 25% of dharma, and it started at the time when Krishna left earth, that is 3102 BC. And if you add the present 2021 years, it will become 5,122 years into Kali Yuga. Now, I would like to finish this with the story of Kakudmi, the king Kakudmi, to illustrate the time dilation. Kakudmi was a great king of the Solar dynasty, and he had a daughter called Revati. Kakudmi wanted to get this daughter married to the perfect man. So he was looking for so many candidates, and he had certain people in his mind, and he decided to go to Brahmaloka and get Lord Brahma's opinion. So he went to Brahmaloka, and when he went there, Lord Brahma was listening to a concert by Gandharvas. So he had to wait. So he waited there until the concert was over. And when the concert was over, Lord Brahma came and talked to him, and he told him the situation. He needed an ideal match for his daughter. And then Brahma started out laughing. He said, whoever you have in your list, they're all gone. Even this whole civilization is gone. They're not anymore. They're not there anymore. But don't worry, Lord Narayana has taken birth, has taken the avatara as Krishna and Balarama. And Balarama will be an ideal candidate for your daughter Revati. So he came back to earth. He was so surprised to see that the whole, the whole world has changed. And so he found out Balarama and asked whether he could marry Revati, and that was done. And that's how Balarama got his wife Revati. That was an interesting story. I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of you know about that story, but I didn't know that. So that shows the time dilation. So that's the story to illustrate the time dilation. So they say, according to that, 27 Chatur Yugas passed when he came back. So by the time Lord Brahma finished listening to the concert, that's what happened. Another thing, one more thing I want to add is the cosmologist Carl Sagan. He says Hinduism is the only religion that matches with the scientific concept of time, science concept of time. So that's one more thing I wanted to add. So with that, I would like to conclude this. Thank you so much. I'm offering this as a flower to the God, and thank you so much. This is for you. Thank you for giving me this chance.
So thank you, Satiji. That was phenomenal. Any thoughts anybody wants to share on what they know about time before we move to some other, we'll just extend it and include the time part into what we call as Sankalpam. Just want to talk about that.
Guruji, I want to quote from the 10th chapter, 30th sloka, where Bhagavan just says one line about time. He says, Prahalladaha chashmi daityanam kalah kalayatam aham mruganam cha mrugendro ham vainateyah cha pakshinam. So Prahalladaha cha also asmi, I am, daityanam, of the demons, kalaha, time, kalayatam, of the subduers, aham, I am, mruganam, of animals, cha, and, mrugendriya, the lion, aham, I am, vainateyaha, garuda, cha, also, pakshinam, of birds. Thank you, Guruji.
So Bhagavan himself is time. So wanted to actually add to the context of Sankalpam before we do puja. Do we know what Manvantaram we are in, or which Kalpa we are in? So we usually do it is as part of Sankalpa if you are used to regular puja procedures. So we say Mamo Patta Samasta Duritakshaya Dvara Sri Parameshwara Prityadham. So what we are doing, the puja itself is for the sake of Parameshwara. And Sri Mahavishnu Ragneya Pravartamana. And then say, this is the current time period. Chandramanena, according to the lunar calendar. Anybody knows what the next steps are? Adya Brahmanaha Dvitiya Parardhe Sveta Varaha Kalpe. So we are in the Sveta Varaha Kalpa. That's the Kalpa name currently. And Vaivasvata Manvantare, as Satiji was saying, this current Manu is Vaivasvata Manu, and current Manvantara is Vaivasvata Manvantara. And Kali Yuge, which is the Yuga. Pradhame Pade, we are still in the first quarter of Kali Yuga. There is a lot more, many more. I think there is 430,000 years. Is that correct, Satiji? And then we are in the first
Okay, yeah.
5,000. Sorry, go ahead.
No, 432,000.
32,000, yeah. And we are in the first 5,000. So there is a lot more time for the Kali Yuga to finish. And that's why it is Prathame Pade. And then following after that, we say Krauncha Dvipe, Ramanaka Varshe, Aindra Kande, Megoho, Paschime Parshve. This is for North America. And within India, there is like another list. And this is actually the geolocation of us, like geotagging and time tagging on when we are doing the puja and what is the purpose of the puja. Sankalpam actually is done for clear resolution. That's the meaning of Sankalpam. So we usually break resolutions, take resolution and break resolutions. But when we are doing puja, we kind of have to figure out what we are doing the puja for and what is the purpose. So elders have given us, so for the sake of Paramatman, and then time tag, geotag, and then we actually talk about our own pravara, which who we are, where we belong to, what gotram, what family, and then our full name, and then we go into these are the reasons why I am doing the puja for. So the material reasons could be dhana kanaka vastu vahana samruddhyartham, or moksha praptyartham, or dharmartha kama moksha siddhyartham, etc. are the reasons why I am doing this. So it's a very great way to actually say, like, when in again going back to science, we hear like there are parallel worlds and all of these like billions of galaxies. So kind of this is where I am located. This is the time I'm doing this puja and offering it, and for the sake of Bhagavan. So that's the scientific nature of how we even do our puja. So wanted to share that. Thank you, Satiji, for that great information of knowledge. I personally don't remember those numbers. I wish I could. I memorize all of those, but I don't know much. So I actually only know that Kali Yuga is 432,000, and then it double that is Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and then triple 432,000 is Treta Yuga, and 4 times is Satya Yuga. That's the only extent that I know about the numbers part. Thank you so much. Anybody else wants to share anything before we move to the namas again from Vishnu Sahasranamam?
Sriji, can I ask a question? It could be for you or Satiji. So, she said like after 9 Brahmas, right? There are 9 Brahmas. So, is that like, so the annihilation happens after the 9th Brahma? Like,
Sati?
how does it work with 9 Brahmas? I don't know. It's
Either I need that's what it says after 9 Brahmas are there. That's all new information, all those. I didn't know there is 9 Brahmas and it's over after that. I don't know.
If we're going to put this on YouTube, wouldn't it be nice if we could also put the bibliography of the information?
So I was actually thinking we'll ask Satiji to share the notes. If she's okay with that, then we'll just PDF it and attach it to the video.
Yeah, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, we'll share the notes as well for sure.
Okay.
Because all those numbers are difficult, right? Even
I know.
difficult to note things down. So it would be very
Right.
nice if we had that information.
That'd
And
be
just think
great.
about how Satiji was talking about. That's the thing that I was hoping for, is that scale of how many millions and billions of years to how small of a time period that we are actually calculating in Hinduism. It's like we say a second, millisecond, microsecond, but just think about, and I'll share that link Satiji wanted me to show on the screen. That's from Wikipedia. So the Paramanu, I did not get a chance to calculate how small is this, but 1 second, according to the English time, is somewhere in between here, between a lava and a a nimesha and a kshana. But think about the number of sub parts, a fraction of that that is getting calculated. Okay, so we'll move to Vishnu Sahasranamam. The nama that we were going to take from today was Skandaha. We finished till Pratishtitaha. So nama 327. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So Skandaha, the one who flows or dries. There are two different meanings. Right? So I'll read the straightforward meaning first, and then we will go look at a little more deeper meaning to this one. There is a lot more to it. Amrita Rupena, Ananda Rupena Skandati. Bhagavan obtains, flows in the hearts of everyone in the form of Ananda. Therefore, he is called Skanda. That's the base, straightforward meaning. Or the other meaning that we just talked about, one it is flows, the other one is dries. So Skandati or Soshyati, which is dries, he is the one who evaporates, dries up in the form of air. And of course, we all know Skanda is the name of Lord Kartikeya. So that is the third meaning. Now, if you look at Skandati, Amrita Rupena Shravati, Vayu Rupena Shoshyati Va iti Skandaha. So remember from a few classes ago, we talked about a process called Bhuta Shuddhi. And Bhuta Shuddhi, various gurus have different meanings to it. There is something called as Viraja Homam. It is also in Mahanarayana Upanishad. So various names. Ignore the part for now because everybody is confusing names. For the same name, there are multiple processes everybody comes out with. But the Bhuta Shuddhi that I'm talking about is taking almost like a rebirth almost every day. Just getting rid of your karmas and going through a process. And there in that we say first step is to dry this body. This is all visualization, right? Like imagination and meditation. In a meditative way, we're just moving to the next birth within this lifetime. And as we say, moksha is obtained after thousands, of or millions of births, depending on karma phalas. So moving past a part of the sadhana is moving through those births on a daily basis and improving ourselves in the purificatory process. So in that, there is the first step would be drying up of this body. And then the second step is burning this body. And the third step is Paramashiva Amritam, Amrita Shravam, the flow of nectar that spills on the ashes. And then there is another fourth step, which is Shambhava Shariram that gets reborn. So every day is a new day for this Sharira, for this mind, for my sense organs. So I'm a better person and I've gotten rid of karmas on a daily basis is basic essence of the main essence of this process. So if you think about this nama, so Bhagavan is taken as the one who actually flows and the one who dries as well. So when I talked about the four processes, the first process being drying up, so that is Skandaha as well. And the Varsham, the Amrita Varsham, that is also in the Skandaha. And we have seen Anilaha, the Agni form of Bhagavan, who does the burning up. And then of course, he's the creator and the Shambhava Shariram is being born because of him. So that's the deeper, the tantric way of putting this nama. Hope that made sense. So we'll move to the next nama if there are no questions. The next nama is Skandadharaha, the one who establishes the path of dharma. So the word Skanda here has the meaning of the path of dharma. It is the path of dharma that takes you to Ananda. And we always say, Skandham Dharayati. Bhagavan is the one who establishes and maintains the path of dharma and also the relationship between the means and the end. So the means being dharma and dharma leads you to moksha. and in that is between Ananda and the means for Ananda as well. So he is the Ananda and the means for Ananda. So that's why he is Skandadharaha. He protects
Shiji,
Dharma.
which shloka is this? I'm sorry.
33rd, I guess. Give me 1 second.
36.
Thank you.
He protects dharma by destroying adharma and also by inducing the people to follow dharma. So, and we've seen dharma krit, dharma bhrit. So he actually helps us follow dharma. He defines what dharma is, and as our inner conscience, he's driving us to follow dharma. And we've also talked about the many malas, right? The Arnava malam, the Mayika malam, the Karmika malam, that actually block us from listening to our inner conscience. And therefore, some people would be following, like all of us, would have sometimes we won't listen to the inner conscience, but the purer we get, the more transparent we get between us and our inner self, then that the difference between, or the distance between the two decreases. And it's a relative distance, and by which we will continue to be on the dharmic path, on more like an increasing dharma path, which ultimately leads us to moksha. So that is Skandadharaha. The next nama is Dhuryaha, the one who bears the load. And as the Adhisthana, as the substratum that is in the creation, so Bhagavan created the universe and he became the foundation, the substratum that the whole universe exists and survives and sustains upon. So therefore, he is Dhuryaha. So Ishvara bears the weight of the whole universe. And there is something else Guruji, Swamiji used to say, if at all there is a load, it means only all our punya and papa, our raga and dvesha, our likes and dislikes, our kama and krodha, our desires and anger, our unconscious, all these are heavy, and we load Ishvara with all these. Ultimately, it is only Ishvara who carries this heavy load. Is how Swamiji used to explain about this one. Okay. Next nama is Varadaha, the giver of boons. Parameshwara, as Vara, there are two meanings to this. Vara, we'll take the first one first. And we also know, like, the Varada Mudra in many of the forms, Bhagavan's forms, we see that Varada Mudra that he's holding, that he is the giver of boons. And just like right? Like, even before we think we want something, our parents fulfill our wishes. And even if we felt like we need a fancy, it's not like a basic needs, we want something or we fancy something, we go and seek it, and Bhagavan provides that, just like we parents do, or our parents did to us. So the one who fulfills the desires of everyone by giving the objects of desire as varas, boons. Even, and Swamiji jokes that even at his own peril. So he has done that to many of the asuras. And Swamiji jokes, he is a reckless giver. Dakshina, and so the second meaning to this, in Homa Karyam, so the gift, the dakshina that is given by the yajamana, the person who is performing the homam, to the yajna kartas, the presiding priests who have performed that homa, that is called as vara. So they say that Bhagavan himself is the yajaman, one who is performing the homa. And this goes back to Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnyo Brahmanahutam, right? Like we know that shloka. So he is the yajna himself. He is the one that is taking the offerings from that are offered into the yajna. He is the one who is performing the yajna. He is the havis. He is the shrik and shrivam. He is everything in a yajna. In that sense, the person who has performed the homa is Bhagavan himself, who is giving vara to the priests who have performed it. Next nama is Vayu. Maybe you know what? I'm going to hold off on this one, because when it comes to Vayus, I would like to actually talk about the various Vayus and how Yeah, I think we'll hold here. There are Dashavayu not, so I'm going to talk about that next week. Are there any thoughts before we conclude, or shall we just conclude here?
Guruji,
what-
go ahead, Bhavani ji. I'll talk later.
Okay, I just wanted to compare this with the previous, the third nama, Vashatkara, which would be the same meaning to this also, isn't it?
Yes, but this one is the vara very specifically, right? Like the vara that the yajaman is giving to the priests. That part is vara. So the one who is giving the vara is Bhagavan, and Vashatkara is like the whole yajna, everything in the yajna is him.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
just kind of trying to relate those two as
Yeah.
we have discussed.
Yeah, thank you.
Guruji, I was thinking when you were telling, like Swamiji telling that he's a reckless giver. When I was small, I used to listen to all this Ashuras about giving spoon, and then, but like when I was thinking, comparing the time and everything, God knows about everything. He knows the future, what is going to happen, and yet he still gives, because I think it's the pathway like to destroy the Asura, right, Guruji?
Yes. And he very discretionary, like, he uses lots of discrimination in giving that too, right? What is that you want? For example, if we take the Hiranyakashipu, he knew, like, in what form he can actually break all the clauses that the Asura asked. So
Yeah.
Bhagavan finds his way for doing, like, giving and at the same time disciplining the child as well.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, we'll conclude there. पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ सर्वं श्रीमन्नारायण चरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for your time.
Sriji.
We'll
Thank you, Satiji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shriji.
Satiji.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank